Here's the issue, Mark. You and I are aging, and that it's hard to stop that.
Nope,
you know
it's
what I mean?
problematic.
So we can't do the things like we used to do, which is like, stay up late at the bar, then go get a burrito, and then wake up 4 hours later, and everything's fine. We need something. How about this, Mark? How about what I've been using? Terra Origin. Because adulthood, it's hitting hard. We're dealing with it. Middle-aged guys. My knees hurt. I hurt my wrist the other day. I punched a door. Shouldn't have done that. And now my wrist hurts. This is stuff that wasn't happening when I was young. So this is where Terra Origin comes in. Are you curious why I punched the door?
Yeah, I was going to say that's a different conversation, but if you've got Terra Origin, I'm sure that you're going to be able to get your way out of that mess.
Aaron Judge grounded into a double play. Anyway, Terra Origin makes science-backed, clean supplements designed to help men perform better, recover faster, and feel good every single day. They make smart, no BS supplements that actually help you feel human again, and that's why. This is the product that you need. The best part about Terra Origin, no fluff, no fads, just premium, transparent formulas you can trust. It's like upgrading your daily routine from survive to thrive. So whether you're lifting, leading, grinding, or parenting, Terra Origin helps you show up at your best. Visit TerraOrigin.com and use the code PODCAST for 30% off your first order and free shipping. That's TerraOrigin.com. Terra Origin. Feel better from the inside out.
Ladies, you know those sudden hot flashes that turn your bed into a furnace? You don't have to sleep in the heat. The perfectly snug smart topper is like air conditioning for your bed. It even has dual zones for you and your partner so you can both sleep at your perfect temperature. No more kicking off covers, just consistent, comfortable sleep through every hormonal curveball. FSA, HSA payment options available. Visit perfectlysnug.com for our biggest sales event of the year. You can save up to $330. Just use code Black Friday today.
Where are we putting him?
I keep him in this category, but it's like with a TBD attached to it, an
I
asterisk.
think that's kind of cheating, though, Ceci.
Ceci's putting him in a category of I feel pretty good now.
Yeah. Wait a second. I got this. Listen, it's our f***ing show. We can do anything we want. New category, rule change. Rule change. Sean McDermott goes into his own category called I feel pretty good.
Yes,
pretty good.
That feels pretty right.
Heyo, welcome to Heed the Call, NFL podcast. Dan Hanzus is here, joined as always by my life partner, Marc Sessler. Ooh la la. Mark, is that a overcoat?
Yes.
Daddy likes daddy.
Yeah, I'm getting Christmassy around here. Spent the morning putting up a bunch of Christmas decorations just to adorn the apartment.
You definitely didn't.
I
That
definitely
can't
didn't.
be true. Yeah. Okay.
I don't even own any Christmas decorations, but the idea of the concept.
Do you guys, like, when December comes around, does the Hollywood Dungeon get a little Christmas spruce up, or does that stay, like, blacked out curtains, chains stay on the wall? Like, is there a tree, or maybe it's a black tree, or is that just a different area of your life that you keep? It's secular.
Yeah, it's that would hark back to my childhood. We also we have a cat here, and if you bring in sort of a tree type item, it's just utter chaos, and it's like, I don't need that.
Right. Another reason to put the tree in the dungeon, because I assume the cat doesn't go in the dungeon, because the dungeon's different.
Well, don't assume anything. Don't assume anything, then.
Gonna get ASPCA on this case.
It's a football podcast.
Hey, fun show today. End around Wednesday. We're going to have Jimmy Palmer joining us in just a few minutes. And we're going to check in on the hot butt coaches carousel on a week where Brian Daboll met his maker. Love the New York Post. The New York Post has this weird fetish for kind of like, you know how a dog or a pig or whatever will roll in its filth for fun?
Sure.
Or whatever the reason is. The New York Post will roll in the filth of a coach's like bruised or shattered ego after he gets fired, and you can guarantee same thing happened to poor Joe Judge. As I recall with Judge, they caught him opening up his front door as like a friend brought in 2 30 racks of Coors Light the day after the Giants fired him. We had the shot of a pissed off and probably clinically depressed Brian Daboll leaving his house wearing a Penn State hoodie, which I'm sure he had to dig out of the storage because everything he wore was blue for the last 4 years. Tough sitch.
They can't help themselves, and we can't help but looking at it when they produce these covers, and it's tabloid-esque, right? I mean,
so you're saying we're part of the issue. Like if we thought, hey, where's the human side of this, giving this guy a little space during the most difficult moment of his career and potentially life, maybe don't click that link. But I did want to see what hoodie he was wearing. So shame on me, I guess.
No, you should be the person bringing over the 32 Coors Lights to Brian Daboll, but instead we're just bathing in the disappointment of his career arc.
Be the change you want to see in the world. Tom Jones. All right, now, coming up, Jimmy Palmer, talking hot butts, checking in on our list from early September, what we got right, what has changed. I don't even want to say what we got wrong, and I'll explain why. We'll take no ownership of anything that doesn't look right on that list, and I'll say why in just a little bit. And just a reminder, and we're going to hit some news. We're going to do a little TNF preview. Jets, Patriots. The Jets have not lost in over 3 weeks.
They're on a run.
I am going to soak this up. I might only have another day to be able to say this, but the Jets are undefeated 3 weeks and counting. We're going to hit the TNF preview. Yeah. Did I mention the news? Do a little bit of news. But first, I just want to share a program note, Mark.
Okay.
We said when we get to 30,000 subscribers on YouTube, we will share, or I should say Connor Orr will share his story, his scandalous tale involving Broncos head coach Sean Payton. The 30K challenge. And right now, where are we, Justin, on the 30K challenge?
Right now, we are currently, are we close? I don't know. Define close. We are 3,309 subscribers away at this exact moment of recording.
So we're over 26,000. We need to get to 30. You need to get to 30 to hear this Connor tale of woe involving Sean Payton. So do it. It's the Sean Payton 30K challenge.
Unless our listeners are friendless or without family, why are you not bringing others in to make this happen very quickly? It feels achievable.
And I just want to say, pulling back the curtain, we are a humble, independent podcast. We are in a beautiful, fruitful, hopefully fruitful partnership with Odyssey, who have been awesome so far. That partnership, that's all about the audio side of things and the audio podcast. So make sure you continue to download the show and listen to it over there. YouTube is kind of its own thing. It's on its own bucket, but it's an important bucket for us because I think we do our YouTube NFL program better than anyone else in our business. And that's a credit to you, Justin Graver, and a credit to you, Marc Sessler, and maybe Zuzzer over here gets a little credit. Doesn't matter. We're not saying who gets the most credit, but the show's great. And it's an important show. And so hit the subscriber, pound that subscribe,
smash it.
Leave comments, smash it. Good job, Mark. And continue to help this, again, humble, independent podcast. Without further ado, let's bring in one of our favorite people. And I think it's fitting because very few people in the industry have a better relationship with Sean Payton. Iconically, this summer, Sean Payton sought out one Jimmy Palmer and said, James, I love this team. Held out his big right paw, and James shook it. And sure enough, here the Broncos are at 8-2. And we juxtapose that against Connor having some dirt potentially on Payton to share when we get to 30K subscribers. Oh, it's delicious, James. How you doing, buddy?
Guys, this has been too long. I don't know if the fans are asking for it, but we're giving it to them. It's been too long. This is more for me than it is them or you guys. I am so excited to be back. I've missed all of your faces. I was just around upstairs. I was in between shows, and I said, because I'm a loaded day today on a Wednesday, and I said to my wife, I'm jumping on with the Heed the Call guys. And she said, oh, tell them I said hello. I go, really? She goes, no, not really. So
what? We had a great time with her. I thought, didn't we not in New Orleans?
Yeah, at the Heat House in New Orleans. We had a great time together.
We did.
Wild weekend.
No,
night,
she was joking. That's what you say when you like people so much.
True.
We tell jokes.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. That comfort level is so important. James is the co-host of Scoop City by The Athletic, an NFL insider for Bleacher Report. Of course, he's co-host in 89 with Steve Smith. You got Steve under control? Like, where's Steve at in 25? Is he
Listen, we're
loose
also
wire?
we're also an independent podcast form. So we tape when Steve wants to tape. We do what Steve wants to do. Listen, we're gonna break that little Robadunze later today. I think him and I. It really has been a blast, man. You guys met John, our producer, who's outstanding. It's just the three of us, man. Just like you guys. We're trying to, maybe we should have like a powwow, and maybe we can pick your brains about how to succeed in this crazy
There is
world.
no try.
But
There's only do. There are no reverse gears in this tank. Justin, there's something went viral over on the 89 show?
Yeah, I was just going to bring it up to give you a shout out. What Steve Smith said about Keon Coleman went like mega viral.
Let's
Set
check
the
that
internet
out.
on fire.
It did. It certainly did.
He doesn't have the ability to be a true number one, and he's not. The difference is you can't teach a dog how to bark. You either got it or you don't.
Ooh, Bunsen burner, a blowtorch. James, of course, I did worry about the brand, the 89 brand, when Jerry Jeudy put up all those empty stats at the end of the Brown season last year, but that's now reverted. He's regressed back to the mean Jeudy for the most part, and once again, Steve Smith is an unquestioned authority at the wide receiver position.
He very much so is. We came out with our very first midseason college big board, our 5 best receivers in the college game right now, and man, that is... People got the opinions. They do not like Carnell Tate at number 5 right now from Ohio State. People are very upset with Steve. And then I get a text from Steve going, don't worry, I'm going to change these. I'm messing with everybody. So I don't even know if it's a real big board. But these are the ones
Sounds
that
like a
he put
terrifying experience co-hosting this particular show.
We're at it, man. We're doing great. We're doing great.
It sounds like doing a show with the Joker from The Dark Knight. Just like, you never know what's going to happen.
Slightly
the man
unhinged.
lives on chaos.
Right.
It's the best.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Thank you, Justin.
Wow.
We'll take that out in post. Don't worry.
Okay. I got it. I did a show once. I hosted a show called Campfire Convos where I'd sit down with a variety of different people at a campfire from different lines of work. And I sat down with Michael Jai White. I don't know if you know the actor, Black Dynamite, Michael Jai White. He was also the lead gangster in that scene where the Joker says, do you want to make this pencil
that
disappear?
dude.
The big, he played the lead gang, and he told me all about his interactions with Heath in that scene. It was fascinating.
Wasn't that fire your backyard? I thought it was your backyard fire circle or whatever you'd label that.
Yeah, with us here, we're kind of hippies out. Is the drum circle, I think it's called, is what you're alluding to?
And to be clear, James, you just used up all 3 of your plugs, so we need to move forward.
Let's go. Why'd you guys have me? What's happening?
Hey, before we get into the Hot Butts check-in, we have one of the great insiders of our industry with us, James Palmer, so let's do a little news catch-up.
All right, before we get started with the power rankings, a certain top 3 team just dropped a new uniform. I'm wondering, what's the best alternate uni in the league right now?
Oh, my God. I was wondering if we were going to see that clone zombie dog walking around with 2 tails wagging at once in the background, but nothing.
If you're a gentleman in the public eye who is aging in reverse, do you find it wise to come out and tell everyone that you cloned your dog? To me, it just kind of sends a message of, I possibly could be a clone right now talking to you.
It's a fair point.
Right.
There is zero... I don't know if you caught Sessler waving at his own face about the aging. And
No, I
reverse
just said,
thing.
listen, classy gentlemen,
As we know,
aging.
Mark, and you do
just
look
try to be
great
a
today
pro.
with that jacket. Everybody check it out on YouTube. Smash the subscribe. But time is undefeated. Brady has used extensive plastic surgery, it appears, since
Looks
the
great.
age of about 25.
Well, Dan,
And
we
it's-
were on that case dating back to 2012. I mean,
But I'm
we've
saying,
been on
unless
this
you want to
case.
go down that road yourself, I would say just enjoy the moment. The victory lap there you were doing just then was...
Well, I'm not looking to clone animals for the most. It didn't strike me as a hobby, a side hobby. So I think I'm free of that.
It is interesting though, because like Brady, I feel like every time I see him do an appearance or this fakakta power rankings he does, which is nothing like the authentic one that HTC has as an example, he appears less human, more and more, not just how he looks, but how he speaks. Like here's another clip at one point from that 2.5-minute video that Fox puts out?
2 minutes too long.
I watched Matt Stafford play video game football against the 49ers on Sunday, and it seems like he can run this offense with his eyes closed at times. I guess he's kind of proven that with the no-look pass, right? I should have tried that more. It looks so cool.
It's not a human being. That is not a human being.
I think it just makes us look a hell of a lot better at what we do, guys. Talking to the public, relating, just being a regular guy.
You could see like his eyes like burning a hole through the teleprompter.
Well, it's Botox wanting to get out.
Did that make you kind of feel like Peyton Manning in these commercials? He's on to something with his comedic timing a little bit?
I've always been pro Peyton, and I always disagreed with the rest of the ATN gang on Manning's chops as an actor, and I thought he elevated the form, quite frankly. And now Eli, I don't know if you noticed, Eli's doing 1 million commercials now.
I think
he's
Eli
doing
is
more
better
than
than
Peyton.
I think Elon's brother Eli is naturally more funny than Peyton. Peyton has probably better preparation and comedic thoughts on setting things up. But I think
he was already
humor,
comedic.
Eli is.
Even as a quarterback, we found him a little. There were comedic moments with him that Peyton didn't offer. Like he's the younger brother. There's just a different setup with Eli.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm with you. I think he's the higher thespian.
By the way, one of my closest friends back east, who I'm going to actually see this weekend. I'm flying back to New York tonight. I can tell you that he lives in the same sleepy, leafy New Jersey suburb as Eli Manning, and they've coached against each other in youth basketball.
What?
Wow.
Yeah. And
who won?
And that's a good question. I'll check in on that. But he said that Eli's class act all the way, and like really.
How did you not ask that question when you learned that from your friend?
He probably mentioned it. By the way, I just want to also say, like, whoever wrote that script, he opens with that stilted mention about the new alternate uniforms, and then never comes back to it. So I guess that was for dialogue purposes, to engagement on the tweet. So again, very robotic. He was referring to the Patriots on Thursday night. We're going to get to the Thursday night preview at the end of the show. The Patriots, this is from Schefter. The Patriots nor'easter uniforms that they will be wearing for Thursday Night Football versus the Jets. Your thoughts on it, James?
It doesn't really move the meter. When they put the Patriot on the helmet, that's a good look. You know, when he's down there in the stance,
as opposed to Flying Elvis, which they're sticking with here.
Yeah, and I mean, like when we're thinking about legit, I mean, how many times have you now pictured like, can we get that old Broncos uniform against that Kelly Green Eagles uniform? Can we just have that showdown? I mean,
or James, Broncos versus Giants.
Yes,
Super Bowl rematch from decades ago. Like that's my two top. Throwbacks.
And I was dialoguing on Twitter with the official uniform monitor, Dave Damashek, for that.
Is he?
Still holds the position.
That recent Broncos game where they had the Orange Crush throwbacks, and like the Patriots, the Broncos are boxed in by their own history because the ghastly current Broncos get-ups are where they've had all of their Super Bowl conquests, all three of them, right? In 50 and the 2 with Elway. So to go back to the Orange Crush is only to bring up memories of Super Bowls where it didn't go their way or seasons where they didn't get it done. Patriots even more so. Pat Patriot, like as classic as that getup was from the 80s and 70s, they were a testament to failure, essentially in the AFC, with the exception of that one Super Bowl year where they got crushed by the Bears. And they can't go away from Flying Elvis because that's the Tom Brady uniform. So you kind of get boxed in by success. I think Tampa Bay in a similar way as well with their get-ups, which everyone loved. If you were there in the 90s when they got rid of the creamsicles, it was a celebration when they went to the pewter with the flag. But that feels now a relic of its time. And a lot of people want the old creamsicles. And that ain't happening either because they have multiple titles with pewter. Tough sitch. Classic tough sitch, Mark.
A fashion conundrum.
Yes. And you are the man sartorially on point today, Ceci. All right. Let's roll through this news real quick. Jaguars, in the rundown, Justin, you put Jaguars star cornerback wide receiver.
I saw that too. That stood out to me. It felt like very Dov Kleinman, but
Yeah, copy and paste. I think that was
Okay.
directly out of a Rap Sheet tweet or somebody, one of the
That
insiders.
sounds like something Rap Sheet would say to keep the agent happy. But Travis Hunter is a cornerback and wide receiver of, obviously high regard coming out of the draft as a two-way player. He injured himself during the bye week, hurt his knee in practice. They thought it was going to be something that he could come back from, but now they decided, you know what, this LCL is a little too jacked up in his knee, the ligament. So he has surgery this week. The return scheduled for 2026. So in 6 months, he should be full football activities. And good luck to him during his rehab. Now the question becomes, all right, after this first year, which let's just be real. The Jaguars are never going to acknowledge this, especially after the boy genius GM stuck his foot in his mouth after the draft and unnecessarily pumped up expectations around this kid. It was a flop of first year in the league for Travis Hunter, who didn't make much of an impact on the field and then unfortunately got hurt. Are they going to make changes? Are the Jaguars going to see this as a sign that we need to take a different path with this very talented young player? Liam Cohen opened some eyes in his presser when he announced the surgery.
I understand there's a lot of questions about if he'll, remain a two-way player and all those kind of things, guys. All of that is very premature. And at the end of the day, like every player on this roster, he'll be evaluated at the end of the season, and we'll be able to give him his 3 better, 3 best, and the things that we need to continue to improve upon, and the things we need to build on. But right now, our complete focus is on the Chargers and getting a much-needed win on Sunday.
All right, translate that, James.
If you go back and remember everything that was said from James Gladstone and Liam Cohen throughout the entire draft process after they selected him, throughout all of training camp, at training camp, Liam Cohen was going out there saying he's going to play 80% of the snaps on each side of the ball. He is a two-way player. This is the way we're going to use him. We're going to give up that much capital to get a player of this caliber that's going to be this dominant force on both sides. That didn't sound anything like that. It really didn't. And this has been a difficult go so far. Was he getting better before the injury? Certainly. People around the league I talked to definitely thought it was headed in the right direction. This is something nobody's ever tried to do, really. And so I do commend him for that. I commend him for the effort it's taken. I've been told he's a tireless worker in the building trying to do this. But the fact of it was, during the draft process, talking to a number of teams, it was he's not outstanding at either one. So essentially, he has to get better at both. It's not like he was like this unbelievable receiver. Technique is through the roof. Understanding of the receiver position is through the roof. We just have to work on corner. Like, there's a lot of technique and NFL learning that has to happen at both. And to me, I felt like Liam was kind of hedging his bets a little bit about what our plan is in 2026. And Brian Thomas's future, I think, plays a part in this as well, because that was a name during my trade, calls that was kind of floated out there a little bit, and fascinating for a guy who was third in the NFL receiving a season ago.
I want to know what is happening with Brian Thomas off the field, because that is one of the more stunning second-year fall off a cliff scenarios. But his season certainly impacted Travis Hunter's season. There's no doubt about it. I think anyone that took this player on, it was going to be a challenge for the coaching staff, because it's really not been done in ages and ages. There's not a lot of proof concept that it could even work the way that they talked about him early on. So I always felt like year 2, we'd really know what we have with him. But now you go into rehab, which is, if you talk to players that have rehabbed, it's a lonely, lost, quiet process. And I hope that he can stay mentally plugged in. But I'm with you that it's important they made that Jacoby Myers trade, because they are down at wide receiver. And I don't know, if you're Liam Cohen, what you really think you're going to do with Travis Hunter a year from now. I mean, it's just kind of like a garbled scenario. It's not how you wanted this to go. And Dan, we're going to get hit with a bunch of off-season summer storylines like Travis Hunter is plugged back in now, blah, blah, blah,
I think James is onto something, though. I could see them trading Brian Thomas in the offseason and then saying, all right, Travis is going to be our number 1. And if he's going to be our number 1, he needs to put his focus there. That would be my prediction. But it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. All right. Finally, I want to get your guys' thought on this. Speaking of the New York Post, here's a headline. Aaron Rodgers' quote, phantom wife, still a mystery to family and Steelers wags. Wags It's an acronym.
Whoa.
Wives and girlfriends.
Whoa.
5 months after marriage reveal. Here is the lead from Jacqueline Hendricks. 5 months have passed since Aaron Rodgers confirmed he's a married man, and his phantom bride is still very much a mystery. That's according to the spouse of one of Rodgers' teammates, one of the few the Daily Mail recently spoke to about the Steelers quarterback's private life. She's like a phantom, the unidentified wag said. We all want to meet her, invite her out, get to know her, but we haven't met her yet. We don't even know who she is. Mark, Rodgers' marital bliss has been shrouded in secrecy for some time. Do we want to say the quiet part out loud? Go ahead.
Well, I think it's interesting to find an NFL player that when you say wags, that they don't have wives and girlfriends. If they've got just one, we've already scored there. But like, I don't know. If I recall, wasn't she sort of like a new age enchantress or something? Like not really like a football-esque, like go to the stadium and
Okay.
Yes.
yeah, like now as someone who's had his own personal life targeted on the subreddit at times, it's like I kind of want to leave him alone on this one, but I don't know.
All right, Mark.
Like,
Mark?
I would just say like I think that Aaron Rodgers for decades has had sort of a shrouded and bizarre relationship with his own family. So I'm not shocked that they don't have a relationship. But who's the wife that came out, or the wag that came out and drop this info?
Well, Mark's not going in the direction I thought he was going to go in. This conversation needs to go in. James, can you say the quiet part out loud?
I just initially thought of like, is this something we continuously search after the Manti Te'o situation?
Is
this something that now everybody wants to try to see if we have a second?
So the two of you would believe that she simply does not. She's a phantom. She's a scion. She's not here.
Phantom would be giving it too much credit.
I do get a little bit of a sense of. Do you remember when George Costanzo had that picture of his fake girlfriend, and when he was trying to get into the nightclub? Because he had a picture of the previous, and then it was just a magazine picture of a woman that he was using to try to get into this is my girlfriend here. And the woman said, "That's me." He said, "Oh, sorry." This is I don't think this matters, but it's fascinating.
Yeah, there's no wife.
Why cook it up?
This isn't a thing.
Why?
And I don't know if it gets. I don't know if this is his idea of like humor because he wants to give people a ride, like get off my corner. This is my private life, so I'm gonna throw this piece of flesh out, and then I'll laugh about it later. Or if he's just so like into transcendental, meditation or dark rooms that he thinks there is a wife in his life, but that actually isn't true.
Transcendental meditation is where you went with that.
Whatever it is.
Or this does get more interesting, Danny, because if he plays in 2026 for the Steelers, like he wasn't intending on doing, that just extends the length of this rouge. Yeah, like he could be almost done actually.
Yeah, I was going to say though, it's either a media creation for fun on his part, or to enhance his reputation, or get him in the newspapers, or like he literally does think he has a wife, but it's not real. So
I do want to know which wag chirped like a little birdie on this one, though. I think that matters. Like it could pull the team apart.
I want you to dig into that, Ceci.
I finally feel investigative, and I'm going to go down this road.
Good. All right, let's take a break, and then we're going to check in on some hot butts.
Have you heard of Goldbelly? It's basically a lifesaver disguised as a website where you can order the most iconic foods from restaurants all across the U.S., and they'll ship them right to your door. It's perfect for hosting Thanksgiving without losing your mind. And with Black Friday around the corner, it's also a genius move for holiday gifting. Goldbelly has everything: smoked turkey from Salt Lick Barbecue, lobster mac and cheese from Maine, and of course, the mythical pie cakin', because why choose between pie and cake, Dan, when you can have both?
I mean, you got to take the both option. I love Goldbelly. I have a great story for you, Mark. So I used this product when my wife and I got married. We had our the dinner that you have before the wedding, the night before.
The rehearsal dinner, sure.
Rehearsal dinner, yes, of course, that's what they call it. We had Terry Black's barbecue in Austin, Texas, where we got married. And for our anniversary recently, what did I do? I go on Goldbelly. Terry Black's is an option, and I get some delicious brisket and some pork ribs, and I order it. A couple days later, it's in my house, and we're reminiscing about the wonderful rehearsal dinner and eating delicious Texas barbecue, and that's what it's all about. The idea that you could take this special food from around our country and bring it right to your doorstep and maybe make your wife like you just a little bit more.
Well, yes, it's the perfect way to use Goldbelly. You're a man of romance. So if you're looking for that perfect holiday gift or want to impress your friends and family with an epic Thanksgiving, go to goldbelly.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code HTC. That's goldbelly.com, code HTC for 20% off your first order.
Hey, Mark, the way to a woman's heart, the stomach.
It's good for me to know.
Oh, baby, fall is here. Autumn, as some call it. And that weather keeps you guessing. 1 minute it's sunny, the next it's sideways rain, blurg. That's why I'm all about True Work. It's performance workwear built like it matters, because it does, Ceci.
Yes, True Work was started by a trade professional who got tired of heavy, soggy gear slowing him down, so he designed something better, okay? Every piece uses advanced performance fabrics that move with you, keep you dry, and hold up through long days and rough conditions. TrueWork's been tested on real job sites by real pros, and with over 50,000 five-star reviews, the results speak for themselves. My go-to lately is the T2 Work Pant. Durable, flexible, water-resistant, and built for whatever the job or the weather throws at me. If I wasn't hosting a podcast, Dan, these are the work pants I would be wearing every day, although I do wear them most days.
Yeah, old soggy Sessler, no more. Upgrade your day with workwear built like it matters. Get 15% off your first order at truework.com with code HTC. That's code HTC at TRUEWERK.com. All right, we are back. Oh, man. James, a lot has happened in the NFL, in our lives, since early September when you were on this program and we diagnosed, as we do every year, a tradition here at Heed the Call, who are the coaches in most danger entering the season. And now it's time to revisit our initial list, James, and then decide what changes need to be made based on what's happened in the first 10 weeks of the season. That all makes sense?
That makes a ton of sense to me.
Okay, great. So here's what it looked like. When was this, Justin? September 1st around?
September 1st with an
memories.
update on September 3rd.
Right. So this is the September 3rd when I had an initial list, and then I was talked into a few changes after we had a collective conversation. But anyway, let's go through it real quick here and see what needs to move. So we'll start in the death proof category. Death proof, by definition, in this exercise, there is no chance that this coach can get fired. He is as safe as you can possibly be in his profession. Dan Campbell, both Harbaugh brothers, Matt LaFleur, Sean McVay, Kevin O'Connell, Sean Payton, Dan Quinn, Andy Reid, D'Amico Ryans, Kyle Shanahan, Nick Sirianni. Okay. Mark, do you want to jump in on this one first? Because there was a little bit of interesting reporting around one of these coaches that bears watching before we decide where to classify him.
Yeah, I'd love to know what James thinks about this too, but Matt LaFleur has suddenly bubbled up, and I get it that the Green Bay Packers, there was this period, and I added to it in my own world, were seen as like a Super Bowl contender, and they've been a hot and cold, slightly disappointing, please you, unplease you, week-to-week operation. And Matt LaFleur's name has bubbled up as he's coaching for his job, which to me is stunning.
Where, Mark? Where is this bubbling up? Give us more detail.
Matt Steinman from The Athletic. But is that, like, that stuns me. That stuns me when you look at his overall body of work. Like, is he the problem? Like, James, like, what do you think?
Yeah.
Because I just find this to be crazy. He'd get another job in 2 seconds.
He would have another job before his key hit the door of his car in the parking lot. Certainly. Why is Matt saying this? You can connect the dots to some extent. And I'm going to lay it out there, and then you boys decide if this eliminates him from death proof. Okay?
Okay.
There is a new president. So there is a new set of eyes on the organization for the first time in a long time. Then you have Matt LaFleur and Brian Gutekunst, who are entering after this season, the final year of their contract. They were not extended before this year started. They were going to enter in 2026, the final year of their deals. Obviously, nobody really coaches on a lame duck year very often. So after this season, there should be some sort of determining factor on an extension or where you go moving forward. The reason why I think there might be a little bit of suspicion is because of that first part, and the second part is this. They broke precedent. I always pay attention to teams that do something that they never do before, because usually that leads to change in some sort of capacity. So what ended up happening? They drafted a receiver in the first round to make this offense more explosive, something they just never do. Go ask Aaron Rodgers. Then they go make the massive trade for Micah Parsons, because they felt like they were, to my understanding, a player away, a closer, if you will, on the defensive side of the ball from being a Super Bowl contender. They do 2 massive moves before the season starts because they think they are this close to a Super Bowl. Where are they as we enter Week 11? They are 7th in the NFC standings. Where did they finish each of the last 2 years? 7th in the NFC standings. So you made these massive moves. You broke precedent on how you do business. And you're exactly where you were before. I do think there's plenty of people in that building that still think the world of Matt LaFleur. I don't think he's going anywhere. But with everything I said, is there any thought from either of you to move him out of death proof if this season continues to be as up and down as it is? And I would also say around the league, is this Matt LaFleur, or is this still Jordan Love hasn't developed the way everyone expects him to?
Yeah, and that people are going to point the fingers at LaFleur if Love isn't developing into the superstar they're paying him to be. I think what was a blessing in August when Micah Parsons landed with Green Bay in that trade now is a little bit added pressure now that you can look at it from this angle, because there's expectations that were raised that he's not meeting at this time, or the team is not meeting at this time. I think you could see it. You could see it on Monday night on the sideline, the pressure that you could tell that, and the frustration LaFleur is feeling that he can't get this team to play and this offense to play the way he expects it, scoring 7 points in your own building against the defending champions. Before I have a final answer, though, I would like to hear how LaFleur answered this question on Monday, whether he thinks he's coaching for his job.
I'll leave that for everybody else to decide. I'll just focus on the day-to-day and trying to do. I feel like you're always coaching for everything in this league. You know, that's just my mindset. It's always been that way. You know, you can't ever exhale. You got to always be pushing, and that's just my mindset. So, and that will be my mindset until they tell me not to coach anymore.
Okay. All right. I'm comfortable moving him down, James. Because Death Proof is a special place. It's a special place.
It's a very special place.
Yes.
Very special. And man, that makes it feel exhausting being an NFL head coach, didn't it? Just listening to that. Just
pressure, man.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
All right. So the next tier we had, and this will not be the tier for Matt LaFleur, the honeymoon phase. These are first-year head coaches. And everyone that was a first-year head coach, besides Pete Carroll, who we'll get to, who we moved in based on different circumstances around Carroll. Anyway, honeymoon phase, Liam Cohen, Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson, Ellen Moore, Brian Schottenheimer, Mike Vrabel. Okay. This one's pretty easy, Ceci. Let's go one at a time here. Vrabel, move him to Death Proof. He is absolutely everything
Locked
the
and
Patriots could have hoped for. Absolutely. I think he's the coach of the year. Heavy favorite, I would imagine, or close. If he's not, he's right there. Schottenheimer, I think he's okay to stay there. Stop me if you disagree.
Nope, correct.
Ellen Moore, I don't know. I mean, the Saints are such a mess. I would imagine he's not going to be blamed for when they go 3-14 or whatever.
Great outing from Tyler Shook the other day.
Yep,
Yeah,
and that's important.
I think Ellen Moore has done a good job, actually.
But we're not going to move him to Death Proof, right?
No, but I think he can stay right here in this world.
I agree. Ben Johnson, I feel like
Death
where
Proof.
things are right now. James?
I might go to Death Proof. I mean,
I think
the returns have been outstanding. And not specifically with Caleb Williams. It was being the CEO, head coach of the entire room, the guy who loves to spend time by himself in a closet. Could he do that? That part actually has exceeded their expectations thus far.
I agree 100%. I think let's move him to death proof. Aaron Glenn, 3 weeks ago, before the Jets just stopped losing, just said, we're not losing anymore. I would have said we got to move him, but I think that the two trades of their two defensive stars and then winning a couple of games kind of dialed down the heat around Glenn. That's where I come down. You feel similar to that, guys?
Yes.
Very similar.
All right, so let's keep him right there. And then Liam Cohn in Jacksonville, I'm fine leaving him here. You guys cool with that?
Absolutely.
Leave him here, but by the way, crossroads right now where they're at. They've lost 3 of their last 4. They're giving up an avalanche of points on defense. They're in danger of slipping out of the postseason here. But
not in enough danger to move him out of the honeymoon phase.
Right.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move to the I feel good, the James Brown I feel good category.
This one still gets me, actually.
Yeah, we got the long on YouTube. We have the wrong James Brown in the graphic, but we have not fixed it yet, but we're getting toward it. Maybe a 2026 project. All right. Todd Bowles, Mike McDonald, Sean McDermott, Mike Tomlin, Pete Carroll, Kevin Stefanski. Okay, let's go through these now. Okay.
I'm moving
Bowles,
somebody. Let's go.
Cool. McDonald, death proof, right?
Death proof.
Death proof.
100%. Do we forget
just like
this,
Vrabel,
bro?
his program has taken hold.
10 games as a rookie head coach last year.
So McDonald moves to death proof.
Super
All right.
safe.
Sean McDermott, interesting. Okay. I'm not going to overreact to, what happened in Miami, okay? I do think maybe McDermott could be a little bit more nervous. This one, let's talk about McDermott. Do you feel differently, James, about Sean McDermott's job security than you did on September 4th?
Yes. I feel like it's a little bit more on shakier ground than it was at the start of the season because they had the same issues they had a season ago with the offense. Now, I will say this. I mentioned the trade deadline before. I've never seen a general manager more distraught in their post-trade deadline press conference than Brandon Beane. Guys, the guy tried everything. He tried to make so many trades and couldn't get any of them across the finish line. I'm not sure that would have totally helped. They actually looked at defensive line much more than people think. They did look at receivers, obviously, but defensive line was big for them. They have only one way they can win. I think that, Dan, is the part that jumps out at me. They can only win one way right now, and I don't see that changing.
What do you think, Celsi?
I'd keep
Where
him
are we
in this.
putting him?
I'd keep him in this category, but it's like with a TBD attached to it, an asterisk, where it's like I think what happens between now and early February matters a lot. It also matters.
I think
the
that's kind of
hiring
cheating,
cycle.
though, Sassy. We got
Sassy's
we
putting him
can't put any
in a
notations.
category of I feel pretty good now.
Yeah.
Not just
Yeah, I
feel
think
good.
he's almost like kind of like LaFleur in like his own type of category. But I feel good. I don't think like I'm moving on
right.
from this guy.
Wait a second. I got this. Listen, it's our show. We can do anything we want. New category. Rule change. Sean McDermott goes into his own category called I feel pretty good.
Yes,
Pretty good.
that feels pretty right.
Yeah.
Rule change.
All right.
All right.
Let's do it.
What about Tomlin? I mean, should he join McDermott? And I feel pretty good, actually.
Yes.
I mean, I feel like he can't feel. It feels like to me, Mark, that the Steelers season is trending in the wrong direction. And again, while you don't want to be a prisoner of the moment ever, but especially in this exercise, a Steelers team that's lost 3 of 4, that looked totally overmatched against the Chargers on Sunday night. The Ravens are rising up. Joe Burrow's on his way back. I don't feel great about this season ending any other place other than 8 or 9 wins right now. And I just wonder if that would be something that causes ownership finally to say, like, we got to change what we're doing here. This cul-de-sac of elite mediocrity, it's time to address it. I mean, should he shift into a different category?
It's an organization that's different than any other on this list in the sense that you've had 3 coaches ever, and there's no knee jerk. There's no the coach. He's not always the problem. I don't think here. Like it's about the ingredients he's had, but I feel like now it's bubbling up and it's a little bit different. Like I'd be all right putting him in, I feel pretty good in the sense that like maybe it is time for a change. Maybe it's a time for Mike Tomlin to go somewhere else. I think he'd get another job also in like before the key goes in the car, as James said.
James, you decide.
I think the Giants' mouths would be watering if this ended up happening. And they would be all over that in a heartbeat. I would say the one thing that makes me go into a little, I feel pretty good, and like there's a Larry David poster there or something. I would say they went all in this year. I mean, all in. That's usually not the way they do business, and they really did. Is that part of a tipping point? I'm not sure. He always takes a little bit of time after the season. You ever notice that? Where he's always like, I'm so exhausted. And then it goes like dark for a minute, and everybody kind of like waits to see if this is the year. It happens every year. We'll see what happens.
All right, so we're going to move him to the Larry David. I feel pretty good.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Pete Carroll. I'm going to make a case for moving him to the next category. Okay. So let's stick a pin in him, and it's Stefanski as well. So let's move to the Chandler Bing Memorial. Could I be any more nervous category? We already have two coaches that are no longer with us in this NFL. It's Brian Callahan of the Titans. He was fired week 6, I believe.
I thought Great Thayer told us he was safe when we did this last time.
He did. Actually, I think we moved Callahan. Or we didn't move Callahan. We had him in this category. Justin was down on Callahan, but also thought he had a little more security. Does that sound right, Justin?
Yeah, so what I was told before the season is that the Titans management really did not want to fire Callahan mid-season.
Betrayed by his own sources. Hoisted up on his own petard, Sessy.
Yes.
What they told me was the only thing that matters is Cam Ward, and if Cam Ward looks good and the offense takes a step, then wins and losses don't really matter. But what ended up happening was the Titans were a massive disaster. If you look at stats like EPA per dropback, Cam Ward is last in the league. The Titans offense is among the worst in the league. And so while it wasn't about wins and losses, which, wins also didn't come, the offense was a complete disaster, and Callahan's situation became untenable. So the scenario that they said, this is the only way we'll fire Callahan, that scenario played out.
What, James, what happens, because Justin is, young and learning in the industry, when a source betrays you? How do you, is that something, do you have a conversation about it, or is it more like a live and learn, an internal thing that you clock? Or
I was a flaming bag of shit on their front porch, man. You gotta send a message. You know what I mean? You gotta tell them who's boss. So yeah, listen, if you're ever on the fence about something, like now would be a perfect time for me to say this. I was talking to a member of the organization week 1 in the press box, and the debacle before halftime left them pulling their hair out, going, we're gonna have to talk about that.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, now it's a great time for me to say that. Week 1, I was like, yeah, it's too early. We're upset with Brian Callahan and his clock management, but now it's safe. So you gotta pick your spots sometimes when you use it too.
All right, Dable's fired. I actually had him originally in the Molly You and Danger Girl during the Giants optimism season on this show.
Molly,
he was moved into this category, but he was fired, obviously. So he gone. How about Dave Canales? Dave Canales trying to get something built there in Carolina. It's just not happening. It doesn't feel like it's happening, James, with Bryce Young. That they're just 2 steps forward, 1 step back organizationally, sitting at 5-5 right now. Is Canales in the right spot here, or should he be moving up? Because they are 5-5, and that is progress.
It is. There's actually some positive buzz around him, checking around, because I do my preparation for this show.
Oh yeah, baby.
There's a little positive buzz of like, no, this guy might be a pretty good coach, and the buzz on the other side is this might be what Bryce Young is. Like honestly, like this might be what he is. Like you're gonna need a good run game, you're gonna need a good defense. He's okay. He'll make a handful of plays. He's not gonna win you games, and that's frustrating when it's a former number 1 overall pick. But I think they're coming to that realization. But at the same time, they're coming to the realization that like Dave is actually a pretty good coach, though. And I think he's pretty. I mean, with that owner, I never want to say safe, but it seems like it's shaking out that he's relatively safe.
I mean, the owner's paying like 3 coaching staffs right now. So I don't, and that doesn't matter because he's a billionaire. But like Dave Canales, to me, every other week the Panthers look pretty great. So I just think Dave Canales probably should have the opportunity to pick and choose a new quarterback if he needs. But I like Dave Canales. I think he's a good coach.
Let's move him to I feel good. Let's move him. Let's be bold.
I would.
Okay. He's been moved. All right. Raheem Morris, the Youngry coach of the Atlanta Falcons. This team seems, again, another one of those teams that can't seem to quite get it going. And Arthur Blank is an aging owner. I feel like they need a pretty strong finish, I think. That's my vibe on this one, James. Where do you come down? I don't think, put it this way, I don't think 8-9 is going to cut it. I think there has to be real reason for optimism, or I could see Blank looking in a different direction. What do you think?
I think it's still early. I think he's beloved in the building. I know his staff thinks the absolute world of him. I think they thought the quarterback was going to be better heading into this year. I mean, some of the stuff that I was told out of that building heading into this year, I mean, they were over the moon. And now that conversation that I have has shifted a little bit, and now is like, man, he still does some great things, but there's some other things that are like, and they can happen. I mean, he's still in his first year as a starter. Honestly, he played 3 games last year. I think he's fine. I really do, because they fixed the defense. And there's certain games where you're like, yeah, like this works. But they've had a number of injuries on the offensive line, which also has hurt Penix as a young quarterback. So I think he's fine, though. I really do think he's fine.
And James, I'd ask you this because like some of these guys, and it's, less and less, but he's defensive minded and like his job was to come in and fix the defense. And the Falcons defense looks very different than it had for a very long time. It's like, so hasn't he sort of done what was advertised? If you're Raheem Morris, and the offensive side, is it someone like, the offensive coordinator is the one that goes. It feels like a scapegoat situation where the coordinator gets slashed. But Raheem, to me, feels like what he's good at, they're showing that as the Falcons.
Yeah, I'd say real quick, I don't think Zach's going anywhere, Dan, but I would say I wouldn't be surprised if like another staff move happens. Remember they fired their receivers coach like a few weeks back? Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some more tinkering on the coaching staff by Raheem.
Got you. Okay. I thought, Zach Robinson. Yeah, I think there's been a lot of criticism around that scheme. I think you guys have convinced me you want to move him into I Feel Good as well? Shall we?
I feel pretty good.
Okay, let's move him to the Larry David.
Year.
I feel pretty good. All right, how about another Zach Taylor? These things tend to have mechanisms to them, right, James? And you have a disappointing year, and then as a head coach, you have another disappointing year, and then you have an option to like pull the trigger on a protection move. In this case, it was pushing Lou Anarumo out the door at DC last year. They bring in a new DC. The defense is somehow worse than it was last year. The team is disappointing. The quarterback gets hurt. I wonder if this still is a good spot for Taylor, because Joe Burrows could be back by the end of this month. Could Burrow save Taylor's job by leading the Bengals to a strong finish? I feel like he's still in the right spot. What do you think?
I think it's in exactly the right spot. I got nervous for a minute there when the locker room was kind of cracking, specifically after that debacle against the Bears. But I go back and go, wait a minute. He brought in Joe Flacco. They traded for Joe Flacco. And since Joe's arrived there, they have the number 1 offense in the NFL in EPA per play.
Yeah, he deserves credit for that. That's a fair
that's
point.
Remarkable.
Yeah.
Like I think that the Joe Flacco success, even if they don't do anything more with it than they already are, I think might save his job in all honesty. That's his side of the ball. Like that's his side of the ball. But there are some other things that I question, and the contract is coming up, and we know the way the Bengals do business.
Well, and think about how, like, if you're Mike Brown, you kept Marvin Lewis on a bland Bengals team there for like a Mesozoic era length of time. Like there were no changes, and it's not like the kind of owner that's just going to flip flop between coaches. And I would say one thing about Zach Taylor, like he's had to deal with the absence of Joe Burrow. It feels like endlessly. It's whether it's been for an entire seasons or half a season or chunks of time, and survive. And it's like, you're right. We mentioned the EPA thing on our previous show that like when you get a functional quarterback in there, that offense and the parts there absolutely work. It's the defense that's been an issue.
Okay, let's keep him where he is. How about Jonathan Gannon in Arizona? That program is just not achieving flight. I think the question here, Mark, will be, does the coach survive because you decide it's the quarterback who's the problem? They played a lot better. Obviously, it was a tough Sunday in Seattle, but overall, the offenses look so much better with Jake Brisket at the controls. I tend to think this is a good spot still for Gannon because of that. If they could finish and be competitive, keep him right here. What do you think?
I'd agree. They were 8-9 a year ago, so record-wise, it may be a step down. I think we've got a big quarterback change on the horizon, obviously. They've played teams really close up until this last disaster. They really have. So it's like, if you're Monty Austin Ford, if you're the owner, like, do you keep this together to see like what you might be? And my one thing with a lot of these, like, oh, if you're not there in 2 or 3 years, we just fire everyone. It's like, and then what? Like, what if we stick with a coach for 6 or 7 years? Like, that's not the trend, but like Jonathan Gannon, I feel like deserves a little bit more time. He inherited an absolute bundle of disaster, and they're still messy, but I'd give him more time. I'm keep him right here.
Yeah. I think Kyle Murray's a perfect scapegoat, James. I think
the
I think
coaches
that's how
have
it's
been
going to
the
play out too.
The coaches have been the Kyler Murray scapegoat for a number of years, and now I think it may flip. And I think it may flip for what Mark's saying. I think they built this thing the right way over the last couple of seasons, and you've seen the players they've picked, the positions in which they play, and the way that they've kind of built this. This was the first year they were able even to do anything in free agency, like anything, because of the spot that they were in. So I do believe he's relatively fine. I'm just fascinated by this Kyler Murray situation after the year. I mean, just absolutely fascinated. It might be this time the coach wins out. And then I don't know. He may go play baseball. Like, I'm not sure what Kyler Murray's future is. He still has, I think the Athletics still have his rights. But could you see him being a backup somewhere? I really can't.
No.
So I don't know what the landing spots are if they end up parting ways with him.
A Twitch star. Go on Twitch and just perform the way that you do what your heart's desire.
The way the NFL works is guys come and go, right? They age out of the league, but there's always somebody to replace those guys that age out, and maybe he's now the new Russell Wilson. Maybe he has a couple-year window where he jumps around and lands in places. I don't want this to happen, but look at the Jets as an example. Let's say the Jets, Justin Fields is not the answer. Maybe they don't want to take their quarterback in 26 draft. They want to wait till they have the 3 firsts in 27, where it's supposed to be a great draft class. We need somebody. Okay, let's go get the new Russell Wilson, which is now Kyler Murray. Like, I think he'll find a starting job in a new uniform next year. Whether he's going to be successful or not, we'll see. Pete Carroll, is this a spot for Carroll? As the Raiders are having a disappointing year, is this fair to him to put him in the could I be any more nervous category, James?
I know that speaking to some people there this past weekend, I think they've loved what Pete has brought and love what he has done. I just find it fascinating that like John Spytek's contract is far different than Pete's in terms of length, in terms of the way it's set up. I don't know if he wants to go anywhere. He still has a big say, but he still just wants to coach. He's letting John Spytek kind of handle things, to my understanding. But I don't think he wants to be one and done. I don't think the Raiders want him to be one and done, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's like 2 and done. And maybe he gets it more into the right direction and pushes it off to somebody else.
Like, does he feel like the problem? Not
I don't
to me.
think so.
Like, yeah, it's like I think you're right that it's like the age, the career arc where he is. Like, it's going to be a short tenure, but I don't know why you fire Pete Carroll of all the people on this list. I'm with you.
Larry David?
Sure.
Yeah. Sounds good.
All right, Larry David. All right. Let's move to Molly, you in danger, girl. Mike McDaniel. Anything change there, James?
Molly, you in danger, girl.
Well, I think they want to keep him. I really do. I think they want to keep him. And I think we saw that with the change with Chris Greer. But if you move on from him, you're just stuck in this Tua situation in 2026 that's just brutal. Like, he's guaranteed $54 million no matter what. I think nobody has gotten more out of Tua than Mike, and I don't know if anybody else can in terms of what Mike can do. They tried the soft rebuild, and it's almost like you got to fully rebuild it. The roster has no identity. I think that's a big issue, and I think that shows you why they made the move that they made. But I could literally see him staying, but I think he's in serious danger, but I could see him staying. What I think, and this is the point I wanted to get in before I bounce out of here, guys, is this. I really do not think there's going to be a lot of openings this year. And I'm curious how this plays into it, because there are a lot of thoughts around the league that there aren't a lot of openings and there's not a lot of top tier candidates. And does that change the thinking of some teams going, is the grass actually greener, or should we hang on to this for a year? I think that would be similar to the Matt LaFleur situation.
And last thing before you go, Kevin Stefanski. Is he in the Molly You and Danger Girl category?
An absolute mystery. I think Mark said it perfectly. I could see him losing his job and getting the Giants job immediately. Like, I could see that happening, and that's fascinating to me. But I just feel like the way they approached this draft and the way him and Andrew Berry went about it, it was in direct correlation with we're going to be here in 2026. Now, again, with that ownership, you never know. When people are jumping ship for the Rockies, whew, you're starting to go, man, what's happening here behind closed doors?
Absolutely.
So, but I honestly, if he becomes available with what I just said, with the lack of top tier candidates, he would be highly sought after if he became available.
All right, let's move Stefanski to Could I Be Any More Nervous? Shane Steichen we had in the Molly You and Danger Girl.
Oh.
No, we didn't do anything wrong. He was in a lot of danger when the season started.
He was.
But then with each win, as the season got more and more impressive, he moved up a tier, and now he's all the way to death proof. How about that? That's a lesson for everyone.
I'm happy
James
for
Palmer.
Shane. I'm happy for him.
We're all happy for him. I mean, that's a climb. Somebody get him the information about our show.
He stuck it to us.
James Palmer, go follow him at The Athletic. Check out his podcast. Check out 89.
That's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to do 89 right now.
Don't tell
making
Steve that you're
wait.
late because of us. That's all. Just
I'm going
please
to tell
don't.
him immediately. I'm going to listen.
Oh, shit.
Do you remember these
All right.
guys? I'm going to hold up a picture of us from the Super Bowl. Do you remember these individuals?
He's like, I don't remember them. Okay.
I know he planned to stop by the house one time. He didn't. But
Almost.
he planned to.
James Palmer. All right, we'll be
Gentlemen,
right back,
you're the
and we'll hit the
greatest.
TNF preview.
Okay, guys, it's 2025. Those days of only going to the doctor for emergencies are over. No more waiting until, the night sweats turn to all-day sweats, or your fingers go numb texting, I'm fine, Dan.
Yeah, I remember those texts in the old days, Mark, but no more. It's time to take our health seriously and get things checked out when we need to. That's where ZocDoc comes in. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors and instantly book an appointment. You can filter for doctors who take your insurance, are nearby, and fit your schedule. Plus, see verified patient reviews so you know you're in good hands. ZocDoc makes it easy to find care for anything from primary care to dental, therapy, dermatology, urgent care, and more. And you can see real appointment openings, then book right on the spot. Most visits happen fast, within 24 to 72 hours, and sometimes even in the same day. Sessler, save them fingers.
Yeah, the other week I woke up with a sore throat. It seems like it happens to kids, happened to me, an adult. ZocDoc made it so easy. I just got a quick appointment. I was in there within 24 hours, and in LA, that's not always easy to navigate. And they made it as simple as possible. Bang, A to Z.
Think about that. Sessler's vocal cords were in danger. He's a podcaster. He's a very important person. Anyway, stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/heed to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/heed, ZocDoc.com/heed.
What's good, y'all? It's Von Miller, Super Bowl MVP, Sack Master, and now your host of Free Range. This is where NFL meets real talk. Every week, I'm bringing you inside the game, from locker room stories to league-wide headlines. You want football IQ, locker room insight, and real conversations with the people shaping the league? Welcome to Free Range with Von Miller, where nothing is off limits and every down counts. New episodes every Wednesday. Listen and follow Free Range with me, Von Miller, wherever you get your podcasts.
You know, I bought a lot of glasses over the years, and I used to think you had to choose between style, comfort, or price. Turns out you don't. Warby Parker changed all that. They make every frame with premium materials, so everything feels sturdy and looks sharp. Their in-house designs come in tons of colors, tons, and fits, which means there's a pair that actually flatters you. And with over 300 stores across the US and Canada, you can get styled by their friendly advisors or shop online from home, Dan.
Oh, I love that. I don't like leaving the house. And Warby Parker glasses start at just $95, including prescription lenses with anti-reflective, scratch-resistant coatings. Eye exams start at $85, and you could save 15% when you grab 2 or more pairs. Free shipping, free 30-day returns. It's basically risk-free. I picked up a pair of the Elio sunglasses, and I'll tell you what. And I'm very particular about my sunglasses because I don't want to. Wrong pair of sunglasses on my face, I look terrible. I just look like a monster. It's got to be the right fit. And Warby Parker, they nail it with all the options they give you.
Those Elios look good on you. Warby Parker has over 300 plus locations.
Thank you.
To help you find your next pair of glasses. You can also head over to warbyparker.com/HTC right now to try on any pair virtually. That's warbyparker.com/HTC, warbyparker.com/HTC.
Thanks, Mark. I appreciate that compliment.
You're welcome.
All right, we are back. Always great to have James on the show. It's like family, Cessy.
He really is. Well, we spent a week together down in New Orleans and got to know each other better. Did meet his wife, so I don't know what the I guess it was a light jab at us, but that you're right. That shows actual relationships. But James,
that's classic human bonding, Mark. That's right. Just
right.
Joshing around
Sometimes
with each other.
I don't understand how that works, but
don't take it personally. I know that's eating you up a little bit because I think you thought you had made a connection with James' wife, and then. For her, that dig though.
I don't know if I say I made a connection, but it was a friendly group, atmosphere.
All right, so there you go. That's the hot butt update, and we'll see how the rest of the season plays out. And just a reminder that every year, without fail, just like I was saying with my point about who's going to become the new Russell Wilson or the new Justin Fields, bounces around getting starting jobs for a couple of years before settling into a full-time backup or retirement role. Like 5 to 8 coaches are going to go. It's just the way the league operates. And right now we're already at 2 on November 12th. So let's see what happens. All right.
I think he's right that it gets closer to 5 than 8 this year. This might be just a few less this year. Because if you look at that list that Connor created,
always say that though. We always
I know
say
I do, but I normally would tilt that there's going to be whatever they say, but I think it's a little, just maybe a couple less this time.
All right, real quick, TNF preview. Jets at Patriots. It doesn't set up well for the Jets. I am going, like I said, I'm going to New York. I have a flight. If the flight gets out of here. What's going on with these airports, Mark?
We don't know. We love airplanes. We love airports. Do it my way. Okay.
I'm going to a nice little Thursday setup, actually, Cessy. We're going to do We're going to record our show. I'll be recording from my buddy's apartment, Bob from Throwback, my bosom buddy, in Murray Hill section of Manhattan. And then I'm going to meet up with my brother, Kevin Danger Hanzus, and we're going to go to
two great guys.
He's a great guy. A taping of The Tonight Show, where Bob is a staff writer for Fallon. We're going to check that out. And then we're going to bounce out of there, and we're going to go watch the Jets at a tavern. And Mark, you're going to hold that down on the Thursday night recap. We'll jump in.
Yes, Connor and I will. Yeah. Connor and Justin and I will set sail, and then we'll fly you in.
Yeah, give me a buzz.
Sure.
And maybe I'll pick up on FaceTime. We could have a little conversation about the game, that I don't think obviously will go very well for the Jets, who, despite beating the Browns obviously beat the Browns more than anything else in that game. In fact, I think Justin Fields threw for 59 yards, if I'm not mistaken, and 44 of those yards came on a screen.
Yeah,
on a screen
in the
that
first half alone.
Breece Hall caught on an all-out blitz for the game-deciding touchdown. So the offense is still a mess. Breece Hall is doing his best. Garrett Wilson re-aggravated that knee injury, so he's out for another month potentially. And now the number 29 Jets have to go to a place that's been more or less a house of horror for the last 20 years, excepting one very special playoff game under Rex Ryan. They go to Foxborough to take on the number 4 Patriots, playing out of their minds. This feels like a game that Al Michaels will be talking about, special nights at Duke's in Malibu by the third quarter. I don't know if it's going to be competitive football. I hope it is, but I'm bracing for the worst.
Well, it's like, so if you're going to a tavern to watch this, I was going to say, if they ever pulled it off and beat the Patriots, you would be heavily underwater alcohol-wise, but you might be either way, because I think it could go very much in the other direction. The fact that we talked about all this coaching stuff back in September 1st, right? The idea that the Patriots are number 4 in our power rankings is a startling development. I think we knew that they'd be solid and thought they would be, but the fact that they're sitting right here speaks so much. And this is the night, I think, if you are just a casual fan, where the Patriots go from leaving that nonstop 1 p.m. Eastern window for their games to becoming a national, not fascination, but we understand that something is happening here. This team is growing. And even last week against the Bucs, to see what Travion Henderson did, what Kyle Williams did, this young class that they brought in, like, if that continues to grow, and if that happens again on Thursday night, like, this is a very, very dangerous team. And it's like maybe Tom Brady has cloned their quarterback as well. Like, it's
All right, slow down.
Well, I'm saying Drake May is legitimately, by the eyes of Vegas, by the eyes of the desert, an MVP candidate, and he's playing that way. And it's
right.
There's nothing about it that isn't solid or real.
Tom Brady's the greatest player who ever lived. I'm just saying, I don't know if I'm not ready to say that about Drake May. I need to see
that was wordplay.
more.
I don't actually think that
and it was
he's
witty.
Tom.
I enjoyed it.
I just think
but I'm just trying to tamp it down a little bit. Because the schedule has overall been soft. Of course, we give them a lot of credit for what they did in Tampa. But what's going to end up happening, Mark? And the Bills. Here's what's going to end up happening. They're going to beat the shit out of the Jets on Thursday. They're going to go to Cincinnati, and Cincinnati is not going to be able to get a stop, so they're going to beat Cincinnati. So that is 8 wins in a row, 9 wins in a row. Then they're going to welcome the Giants on Monday Night Football. I mean, this is nice. Well, they're going to win again. They're going to be on a 10-game winning streak when they welcome the Bills into their building with a chance to essentially clinch the division, because they're already up a game and a half now. That means the Bills have to just keep pace if the Patriots take care of their business in the next 3 weeks. If they beat the Bills, the division's a wrap. That would mean that they would be up at least 2.5 games with the head-to-head tiebreaker in hand. So it's all set up for the Patriots to not just win the East, but potentially get the top seed in the AFC. So make no mistake, the Patriots are very much in position to be a Super Bowl contender and potentially even favorite in the AFC. And all they have to do now, Mark, during this stretch, after they check that box in Tampa in an impressive fashion, is just take care of business and stay healthy. And just keep beating the teams you're supposed to beat. And the Jets are one of those teams.
Yeah, and I think the Jets, to smile on the Jets a little bit, like, they've run the ball really well, and they can do that. But the Patriots have held, in 4 of their last 5 games, teams to under 100 yards on the ground. They put up 1,200 yards of offense in the last 3 games. It's just, this feels like where the Jets trade deadline losses, where, the stories of, oh, well, they did that, and then they go beat Cleveland, and they've not lost in whatever it is, 20-something days in your world. But like, this is maybe where that comes.
Not in my world.
Well, in our world, in the world,
the Jets have not lost.
Just as a selling point, like, if you want to look at, I'm saying it.
Since you brought it up again, let me just check in on this. Let's see. The Jets lost to the Carolina Panthers. Very dark day. On October 19th. So if we could knock off the Patriots, if we could shock the world, we're going to go a full month without a loss. I mean, this is historic shit. Hell yeah. Speaking of which, on that note, and again, I do think they're going to get crushed, but it'd be cool.
I don't know. It's a divisional game.
Aaron Glenn continues to spar with the local media, and I don't know if he quite realized this is not the thing to do, but he continues to do it. Check this out.
I'm going to pass on talking about injuries. Since Rich, he's not here, has all the answers, so you guys can get all the injuries from Rich.
Last one. Is Garrett a candidate for IR, or is that not something you want to?
Ask Rich.
I'm asking you.
Well, I'm telling you to ask Rich.
He's not here, though. AG.
Well, you better call him.
No disrespect to you or Rich, but like we want to hear it from you. You know, like that.
You guys have been here. You guys have been hearing it from me, but now since we're just reporting stuff, that I haven't said, then maybe you should ask him.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see how many.
I mean, listen,
boy.
It's kind of fun, and the verbal sparring between coach and reporter is kind of a lost art at this point in the NFL. But there's something that doesn't sit well. He's referring to Rich Cimini, longtime beat reporter for now ESPN, who reported that Garrett Wilson is expected to miss 3 to 4 weeks with a right knee sprain, and apparently that didn't sit well with Glenn. But listen, you're the head coach. It's your job. The other reporters there are just trying to be real with you and be like, hey, we're trying to get it from you. Everybody's trying to do a job here. And I think Glenn is not realizing that he's not in a position to present himself. And this is, I think, a recurring theme in Glenn's first year as a head coach, and it's been rocky. Like, you have to have a couple pelts on the wall as a head coach to even have that type of energy with the press. There's a give and take to it, and if it's done with a wink, okay, it's one thing. But I think Glenn sometimes has taken the wrong lessons from people in his past, Bill Parcells, most notably, when it's like, dude, this is meat and potatoes head coach stuff. Just have a good relationship with the media, because in some ways they will decide whether you live or die in that big chair.
Right. This isn't year three of Rex Ryan, where we understand that this is allowed. But I do think that Aaron Glenn, that kind of made me laugh. But Rich Cimini, who's been through hell 14 times with this team and is a great reporter, he doesn't deserve that. But secondly, if you're Aaron Glenn, you're passionate. We get it. I'd see a lot of fire and passion from him. It's got to be hard to be losing the way that they have. You've got to, as a head coach in 2025, keep that passion down in these situations. You just do. And he should know that better than anyone. Yeah. He was a New York Jet. It's like he was bathed in New York, but it's like it's playful, and then it turns ugly. Coax 11 wins out of this team and then jab with Rich Cimini.
Right. Anyway, they're on a 2-game winning streak. They haven't lost in almost a month. Good luck, Jets. I'll be at a bar drinking one way or another.
You will.
Okay. All right. Good show. Thanks again to James Palmer. Tomorrow, Connor Orr rejoins us for the Week 11 preview. How about that? And the Thursday night recap of the Jets Patriots. So make sure you're there for that. Thank you for your support. Remember, 30K subscribers on YouTube gets the story of the century. Connor Orr v. Sean Payton. We're not building that up at all. Okay. Until tomorrow, do what you must. Heed the call.
Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services companies. Like how I'm more than Saquon Barkley, the NFL's reigning leading rusher. I'm also the NFL's leading husher. Shh, hush up back there. Wow, I might have just set the hushing record. Well, almost. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Investment Services Corporation, member FINRA, Columbus, Ohio.
Introducing Fidelity Trader Plus. With customizable tools and charts you can access across all your devices. Try our most powerful trading platform yet at fidelity.com/trader plus. Investing involves risk, including risk of loss. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE, SIPC.